We about ready? Let's call to order the Contra Costa Transportation Authority meeting, special meeting, or is this just a regular? Okay, it's special because I'm in charge of November 16th, 2016. Please note the gang's all here except for Member Durant and Supervisor Glover, and would you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, there's Member Durant. Okay, we'll open public comment. This is time for anyone in the audience to address this august body with Mr. Durant here for the last time or so. And how many cards do we have, Terry Ann? Just one? Well, I think that might be Ralph Hoffman.
Ralph Hoffman, senior advocate, senior mobility action council.
Thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, Ralph. Okay, we'll close public comment. It's a lot better than the belated one I did last meeting. Next item on the agenda is the minutes. Do we have any additions, corrections, or motions?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion Romick, second Pierce, light Tatson. No? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. I oppose. Seeing no abstentions. 10-01. Next item is consent calendar, usually acted upon with a single motion. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to pull an item? Darianne, do we have any cards?
Move approval.
Second.
That was a tough one. Motion, Tatson, second, Abelson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, we're moving on to, you guys are too quick for me. Our first regularly scheduled item, 4A11, proposed fund exchange agreement with MTC. It looks like staff, Hisham Naimi's working some miracles again. Tell us how we can make some money.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. I'm pleased to present this item, but this is the thinking of many people of staff, not just me. We are asking you to approve Agreement 456 with MTC, in which CCTA will get $2.2 million in federal funds in return of $1.1 million in Measure J funds. With the improved economy and the higher traffic volumes and the opening of the new lanes on Highway 4, traffic in the westbound direction unfortunately comes to a complete stop near San Marco Road, despite the RAM metering that we are implementing in the corridor. Over the past few weeks, we've been working with MTC to explore ways to discuss and address the queuing problems on San Marco Road, which is perceived to be caused by RAM meters. They agreed to put on the table $1.1 million to study and implement near-term solutions at the application. But since the federal funds are hard to expand and they do have January 2017 deadline to obligate, the discussion basically developed into an exchange agreement where we can use their $1.1 million in federal funds on San Pablo Dam Road, which is currently under construction, is already federalized, and was set up originally to accept $1.1 million in federal money, in return for $1.1 million in Measure J to be paid to MTC 6 months from now after we use their money. In addition, MTC would program another $1.1 million for CCTA and federal money to implement solutions on San Marco Road or Highway 4 operational improvements when a study is completed. This is not a bad deal. 2 for 1 is not as good as 5 to 1, but thank you. And that's my report.
Okay, questions of staff first. Comments brief. Motions. Move.
Second.
Mitchoff, second. Romick. Is there anybody that wants to vote against this? That's 10-0.
You don't get.
You want to vote against it? No. Okay. 10-0-1. Any cards that anybody wants to speak to it? Seeing none, Let's get on to a tough one. Nobody. He's not here. Federal. Did I blow it? Yeah, 4-0. No, he had his light on. It's 10-0.
10-0.
Okay, new item, connected vehicles and autonomous vehicle program authorization to execute MOU. Jack Hall.
Good evening, Chair Hudson and Commissioners. My name is Jack Hall. I'm the Intelligent Transportation Systems Connected Vehicle Autonomous Vehicle Program Manager. Tonight we're going to give you a brief overview of all the great news related to Gomentum Station, and we are seeking authorization for the Chair to execute an MOU between Gomentum Station, a 501c3, and CCTA to advance the development of connected and autonomous. Thank you. This is our vision for the facility. However, the original intent was to create smart jobs at the Naval Weapons Station. And here's a beautiful aerial view of the 5,000-acre Gomentum Station. And you can notice on the middle left boundary of the base is the Concord High School, where we want to develop a science, technology, engineering, and math or STEM program. And we're also talking with Cal State East Bay on this endeavor. And there's a couple in the Bunker City right now. Honda is creating a second test area where we have a traffic signal. I'll show a slide on that later. Also, Otto, a semi-truck manufacturer or operator, they're testing on the spine road, the 7-mile spine road called Kinney Boulevard, and also around Bunker City. So Gomentum Station is a platform for transforming the future of transportation. The overall goals of Gomentum Station are to improve safety. We have a Vision Zero. We're going to try to reduce traffic fatalities to zero. We don't think with this technology, vehicles will not be able to hit each other. We also have another goal is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We see alternative fuels as the future. We are also striving to reduce traffic congestion on our roadways. We feel that we can't build our way out of traffic congestion, and new technology is the solution. And lastly, we want to bring smart jobs to Contra Costa. And the economic development is another overarching goal of the program. So here's a few of our key automobile manufacturer partners. As I mentioned Honda earlier, you can see we put a temporary signal down in Bunker City. That's below the Honda car on the left. Otto is the truck company. Recently, they delivered a full semi-truck full of beer from Fort Collins down to Colorado Springs, and the driver was sitting in the sleeper in the back. One of the co-founders of Otto is Anthony Lewandowski, and he has a great relationship with Randy. Back in 2008, he delivered a pizza across the Bay Bridge, so his kind of thing is pizza and beer, so we're like that. We have Baidu. We're going to be announcing them in the near future. They bring about 40 engineers to the test facility, and they stay for 3 days, and then they stay overnight in Concord. So we're hoping that brings in some cash or some revenue to the city and the area. And then lastly, you can see on the far right is Easy Mile. It's a shared autonomous vehicle that we'll be talking about a little bit more in a second. Additional partners for our ecosystem are technology companies, first-tier suppliers, those are parts suppliers like Bosch and Delphi, roadway equipment vendors such as Econolite. And again, a lot of this is made easier because Randy has a lot of great relationships with all these people. And he introduces us to these people too, which makes it nice. Professional organizations, insurance companies, research institutes, international entities, and other test beds. This slide shows the macro environment, and one of the biggest influencers is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They're in the top left corner. We're working with them closely on the Easy Mile project to allow those vehicles to operate on public roads. We do have the pilot or the AB 1592 that was passed, but we need to expand that in the future to all of Contra Costa and then the state and the country. So there's a lot going on this slide, and I'll just leave it at that, but this is part of the macro environment. So this is the notable project. the Easy Mile project. The 2 of these vehicles have been delivered, the first 2 in North America. They're here. One of them currently is on display at the California Transit Association Conference in Oakland. So that is there right now, and it's got the Bishop Ranch logo on it. And what we plan to do there is, with these vehicles, we want to bring people to get the first and last mile to transit. So we're trying to get single occupancy vehicles off the roadways and into transit. And this is how we plan on doing it. Each teardrop shows a transit station such as Amtrak, BART lines, AC Transit, WestCat, County Connection, and Tri-Delta. So these vehicles, the teardrop will show 2 or 1, depending on the density of the population in that area, and then you would call that on your cell phone or your smartphone. It would come pick you up and take you to the BART station or other transit area. And so after that, we have a video. It's a rough cut video that was produced by Stantec, and I'm going to show that right now. Oh, let me just go back one more. That's our final slide. That's the auto. Anthony Lewandowski's on the far right, and then you see Randy Habib Shamskow, our partner with Stantec, and Lior Ron is the other co-founder of Auto, and then myself.
Momentum Station was established in 2014 through a partnership between the Contra Costa Transportation Authority, the City of Concord, and Stantec to reimagine and repurpose the 2,100 acres of the decommissioned Concord Naval Weapons Station. The result of this partnership is the creation of the largest secure, autonomous, and connected vehicle test facility in the United States, including smart infrastructure.
It is a unique management model that brings the private sector and public sector together, because we need to look at the best interest and objective of the business enterprise as well as the public interest for the safety and mobility.
As a global design firm, Stantec designs with community in mind. That means we invest in projects and opportunities that improve the quality of life in the areas we serve.
The diversity of the companies that are represented at Momentum Station, from the auto manufacturers, technology company, communication company, insurance company, professional organizations representing the real world scenario that one day they may change the landscape and the ecosystem in the transportation for a better future.
The testing that's going on here will ultimately result in safer, less congested roads, cleaner air, and hopefully zero traffic fatalities.
Shared autonomous vehicles aren't replacing existing fixed routes of transit. They're a complement to transit, making it easier and accessible for people to use them. Providing solutions for the first and last mile to bring more commuters to major transit hubs than ever before.
The business partnerships represent a real microcosm of what this industry will be one day.
Autonomous shuttles create jobs, especially in 2 areas. More bus drivers. An increase in riders creates a demand for more drivers and an increase for transit fleet. Staff to handle maintenance and upkeep of autonomous vehicles and the related systems.
I don't think it's too much to say that we're redefining mobility. Our partners are developing autonomous and connected vehicle technology that will help accelerate the next generation of transportation infrastructure and make the future of driving safer around the world.
What we are doing at Momentum Station is facilitation and collaboration among partners in connected and autonomous vehicle environment that is very impressive. With ongoing testing at Momentum Station.
It is a rough cut, but we'll see.
And
Go back.
vehicle environment that is very impressive. With ongoing testing at Gromentum Station and
Let me see if I can just bust through that. Yes. Yeah, it's a rough cut.
Okay.
We will just come up and recite the rest, right?
No. Okay. We'll get back to the item here. Thank you. You got more, Jack?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Any questions of staff or comments? We're asked to authorize a MOU. Go ahead, Member Pierce.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add is you mentioned that this is something that we need to spread throughout the Bay Area and through the state and that sort of thing. And we've got our 1592 that allows us to do this. I have been hearing repeatedly at MTC meetings that the rest of the Bay Area is very jealous. And they want a Me Too clause in the legislation. And I said, sorry, it's ours for now. You're going to have to help yourself. But they are jealous, and they think we're doing great things. So I just think this is fabulous. So thank you.
I'm not so sure that they can't get in for a bargain basement. Yeah. Anyway, we're asked to authorize an MOU. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Pierce, second. Was that? No. Arnrich, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, 10-0. We'll move on to correspondence and communications. I just received a late communication that, go ahead, Darren, did you? Oh. That we have a last meeting for somebody else here, and that is Sherry McCoy did not apply for alternate. So, Sherry, would you please come up? We're going to give you a seat of honor. Listen up. We don't care about the rest of that stuff. That's all we do. So we have this special seat prepared for you. We'll have to sit right here. And we were not prepared for this tonight, Sherry. We will have a accommodation for you also at the next meeting. There's no other correspondence. Associated committee reports, 6162. Anybody? 63. Whoops, there was no 6-3, 6-4. Seeing none, it's on to the chair's comments and reports. I have a special commendation here, roast, whatever you want to call it. And this is for David Durant. And it says, I'll try not to read this and throw in my own little clips. Thank you for being our official translator of transportation jargon, our most reliable wordsmith, requested or not, and one of the most conscientious packet readers of the bunch. We're sure you won't miss the 680 commute rush trying to get to meetings on time, which now I'm the only one who seems to be stuck with it. But it's hard to believe that after 17 years of public service, you're likely to hear less yapping at a company called Yapstone than during all the public meetings you've sat through. In there and not stated is you do not come back for public comment. Okay, we hear that your time on Transpac caused you to develop an alter ego. You called your brother Doug. And while we hear Doug could be tough, we're happy that you brought David. I don't believe this. The choir boy to our meetings, although I don't think in all these years we've ever actually gotten a song out of you, so we've reserved 2 minutes. If you want, yesterday? Okay.
We don't do so.
Thursday night is practice.
Thursday night is karaoke. Thank you for your years of thoughtful, steady, and humble service, and know that your contributions to this body have made and will continue to make a tremendous difference in the lives of the residents we serve. And now we'd like to present you with a commendation for your exemplary service to this organization. You will be missed, David. This is a commendation. I'm going to do it up here because if I do it over here, nobody's going to see us. I have a thing against turning your back to people. As a representative of Transpac on the authority board beginning in 2008, David Durant has played a significant role in the delivery of key transportation projects in Contra Costa, with some of the most notable including the Caldecott Tunnel 4th bore, the modernization of Highway 4, including the BART extension to Antioch, supporting improved transit and improved major streets like Buskirk Avenue, Geary Road, and Contra Costa Boulevard to create smoother, safer streets for all users. David Durant's leadership as Authority Board Chair in 2011 and thoughtful, dedicated service on the Planning Committee helped shape the visions of our county's future and has been vital to the Authority's successful collaboration with public agencies, industry, and community members in an effort to positively impact both transportation and overall quality of life for all of Contra Costa's transportation residents. Presented with gratitude and his service to Contra Costa on this day, thank you, David. No, we did. As we said today at the meeting, you got 1 minute. No. We do it. I cannot believe you have nothing to say.
Of course I have something to say. The first I will say to you, you all, my colleagues up here and the people who get to sit in the audience, what I have said in many times in many places. This has been an amazing ride working with a collection of very committed, dedicated, and wonderful public servants. Note that I didn't use the word politicians. While we all at some level are forced to do politics, what's made the last 8 years serving with you all is the amazing esprit de corps, the friendship that we've developed, the working relationship where we all seem to understand that by coming together to do the things that are right for the county we serve, our own cities, the other bodies that we represent, but most importantly, the people of the community that we serve. It has been indeed a humbling and extraordinary experience, and I thank you all for the opportunity to have been part of this. I will look forward with great anticipation to the great things that will happen. I am sorry that I'm not going to say it's done yet, but it still does not appear that our measure passed, but that the certification is yet to come. I think, unfortunately, the people of this county made a what I would call a grave error in not passing what is an extraordinary plan for our future, but I think there'll be another opportunity in the future to sort of get that message across, and I'll be cheering all the way and helping in any way I can, but from the sidelines. Thank you all.
Thank you, David. Sherry, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I will ask you, can you come back December 14th so we can do this right, the proclamation and everything? Okay, thank you very much, because we have a very short, brief, no, take as long as you want, executive staff member report.
Thank you. Sherry, thank you very much for your service. David, thank you for your service. You've been a great supporter of staff over the years, and so at least over the 6 years, 6+ years that I've been here, it's been a great relationship, and so we're going to miss you. There's a lot of things going on at the Authority. You can read the packet as well as I can. We're getting asked from communities all over the nation how we got to where we got with the shared autonomous vehicle, so it's not just the Bay Area. St. Louis actually drove out. We had a mix-up, and we weren't able to meet with them, but I did call them and apologize profusely that we kind of messed up the scheduling, but they're interested on, how do they provide that first and last mile solution, because that's an issue all over the United States. And I did an interview today with a reporter from KQED, a very nice gentleman, and he was asking what aren't the taxpayers going to get in the future because this failed. And I talked about the efforts that you all put in over numerous meetings to get this expenditure plan exactly right. Maybe not 100% right in everybody's mind, but it was 90% right in everybody's mind. And so there was 10% of the measure that we really may not have all agreed upon, depending on which seat you sat in. But I said it had the ability to leverage future technology. It had flexibility to make sure that you're not buying a bus if that's not the right tool, or you're not buying a train if that's not the right tool for the situation. And so I said it was developed under, and Ross did a great job of dealing with all of the issues associated with putting that together. But I still think it's a very good expenditure plan that's going to help the county maintain its not only livability, but its economic vitality, because I reminded the reporter that population is supposed to grow 29% if Martin's numbers are correct, which he got from, I think, ABAG. Anyway, the population numbers, if they're correct, and you don't make any investments in the transportation system, we're gonna be in deep trouble. So I give Lindsay credit for this. I don't know if she deserves it, but I'm going to give her credit anyway. But she said we want a smarter transport system, not a larger transport system. And I think we live by those words, and so we're going to continue to move forward. We're not broke, so that's the good news. We're going to probably do a $100 million bond sale in May of 2017. And then if you look at, depending on how the economy goes, under that 42%, we may have approximately, maybe a little less than 160 million left? Where's Randy? Yeah, 160, a little less than 160. So we're not absolutely broke, but it would have been great with the flexibility. So a lot of work going on trying to provide mobility for Contra Costa as well as the rest of the nation. I am a judge, ACEC judge, and so we had a couple applications, and I'm sworn to secrecy, but I tried my darndest to get it as project of the year. Either one of those, it was the 164 interchange, and the other one was a smart corridor along Interstate 80, and so we'll have to wait to find out. Martin Engelman represented us at the California Transportation Foundation's. It's an educational symposium. It was held in Santa Cruz this year, and so students are put together with people from industry and people from the public sector. It's a golden opportunity to recruitment. And speaking of recruitment, we've offered a job, and she's accepted. What's Fifi's last name? That's exactly correct. So, you're right. Yeah, Fifi. And she has a master's degree in public administration, and she's agreed to start on November 28th as one of our executive assistants. So we'll introduce you to her when. It was November 28th, right? November 30th. See, my memory's getting bad. And the last thing is I got invited at the very last minute to go speak to the California State Association of County Retirement Systems, SACRS. And there was 600 financial people, and the first person talked about financing from a transportation financing perspective from the CTC. Barney Allison from Nossaman spoke about P3s, and I got to speak about redefining mobility. And it was interesting afterwards, this guy from the county came up and he goes, you sound just like a tech person that happens to be working in a public sector job. We just can't believe it. And I said, well, and I said this when we cut the ribbon on the electric bus. The electric bus in Walnut Creek is the first application of an OEM-based inductively charged bus in the United States. And I said this and I'll say it again. The reason why we're able to be a little more innovative than some other agencies is because of you. You allow us to do these weird things, and you support us, and you make sure that we do it right. And if we don't, you succinctly tell us where we kind of messed up. But really, it's a great partnership. Don't forget that is a great equation for innovation. Is when we have this great partnership between the people that oversee us and the staff that goes out and tries to find a better way of doing business. So I close on that. Thank you. And by the way, Ross is going to retire. I was saying in my email, and it's amazing. We started working together sometime in late 1990, implementing project management at Caltrans. That's a long time ago. As I used to say it didn't seem that long ago, but today it's even longer. So Ross, it's been great working with you over the last 26, 27 years, and thank you. I don't know if you want to say something now or you want to say something in December?
Well, I'll be back, and I'll save it for that. I normally want to start goodbyes. Echo what Randy said. It's been a tremendous partnership, and I've not had more fun over a 6-year period than I have over the last 6 years. Hopefully you've seen our partnership model. If you haven't, it's think big, Randy's talking about. Get stuff done, different word than stuff. And we've done that. So I'll be back in December and properly.
Thanks. Other than that, or we'll put you in the other seat. But I have not forgotten Commissioner report. I just thought under the circumstances we do that last. You've got the calendar there, 8-1 and 8-2. If any comments on it, not seeing that, we'll go back to, first of all, is there anybody who wants to report on something to end the night for our commissioners, or any comments they might want to make? So okay, let her do the report, and then we'll get back to comments, okay? Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, I need to report out that I attended the CalCog Fall Conference on Monday. We had an all-day workshop, policy discussions, and as your representative, I was there to represent where we are after the election. But we were called out by the Executive Director, Bill Higgins, for our innovation, not only in the technology field, but something that some of our members around the state hadn't realized until recently, and that is our growth management plan that we have in our measure as part of our agreement countywide. And we're the only ones in the state who do it. And there are a lot of people that go, really? How did you manage that? Well, we've just sort of always been there, and it's important to us. And so they've asked for a more thorough report, and we'll probably be doing that for the spring conference, which is coming up the end of March. So anyway, it was a very good meeting. We have gone to a full staffing kind of a position instead of just contracting for an executive director. We actually have a staff, and we're doing full benefits and all that kind of thing. So we're a real organization now, not a fly-by-night anymore. So that's pretty cool. We've got bylaws and everything. So it's pretty impressive, and it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger all the time, and the partnership is amazing. And Randy can tell you from being there for the executive directors meetings that it's a pretty dynamic group. And we're actually doing some really good things for working on transportation programs throughout the state. So pretty exciting stuff.
Okay, we're going to go all the way around. We'll end with Sherry and David. Janet, anything, comments, or?
I'm attending the...
Got to turn it on.
I am in the process of attending the California Transit Association conference, but I've only done day one, and there's 2 more days to go. But I would actually like to share something that we heard today, which I thought was really interesting, and it was from the chairman and CEO of Kaiser Permanente, and it was a rather interesting speech. He talked a lot about his thoughts on the election and that sort of thing, but then as he got towards the end of his speech, he started talking about innovation. And it was very much in parallel with, I think, the kind of thing that's been going on here. And it was very exciting to me to hear somebody from a completely different industry do that. And I really appreciated and enjoyed his speech in general, but I think that was the thing that was the most interesting to hear about it, was that he was talking about innovation and the importance of innovation. So I just thought I would share that one small piece, and I'll have to go to the other 2 days to do that.
Well, we'll wait till the 14th to get the rest of it. Thank
Okay.
you. Can you turn yours off? Don, you're up, and then Karen Mitchoff.
Very quickly, I just wanted to publicly thank Martin and Randy because they colluded on a letter of support for a nomination I received to be the Cal AFCO Commissioner of the Year statewide. And I think their letter tipped the balance because I was the surprise recipient of the award. So thank you.
We're not so surprised. Thank you.
What would we do without Facebook? Yesterday, my feed came up that it was 3 years ago yesterday that we did the ribbon cutting at the Caldecott Tunnel. I cannot believe I go through that about once a week, and it's still wonderful, always will be, but it was fun to see those pictures and realize that it was just a short time ago.
Cool. Tom?
I have nothing except to thank Sherry for being my alternate. She's the world's most loyal alternate, and I hope that I'm not sure she can be replaced.
Okay, Kevin?
Nothing.
No?
I really just want to thank Ross and everybody, all our staff, all of us here. We worked our rear ends off along with all of our public-private partners. While the outcome isn't what we thought, I think, as Randy just mentioned, we learned a lot. I think we set ourselves on a course, whether it's implemented now as a whole or we start implementing parts of it. But I think the course that we've set over the next decades and where we're going to be, we're obviously going to retool and do this in a different way. But I think we brought our agency along and our staff and us as the public leaders and our private partnerships a lot further along than we were. We didn't know what transportation was going to look like in the 21st century. We didn't know all these solutions. And I think what I'm most proud of is I learned a lot in the process. And I know our staff did, and we're looking at the world in a slightly excuse me, I'm out of water, a slightly different way. And I think it's all for the right reasons. And I'm going to miss this man next to me because we had a way of tempering each other. But what David did, I think, better than most of us, is that when we came to those tough impasses, David had a way of saying, here's what I hear, and sort of bring it back. And sometimes wordsmith is out of a hole. As they say, quit digging, and David figured out how to do that. And to Sherry, you know, it's really been wonderful to have you here. Look forward to being able to say some nice words as well.
Mayor Taylor?
I remember on a cold, dark, rainy night, I went. I actually drove to a dark, gloomy building and sat in a dark, gloomy room, and it was called CCTA. I looked and I saw pictures on a wall, on a dark, gloomy wall.
We're going to miss you, Bob.
And I sat down and I learned the jargon that night of things I'd never heard of. It was my first CCTA meeting. And the more I listened, I realized, wow, I'm probably getting ready. I'm on another planet, but it sounds like to me it's going to be one of the most intelligent planets that I've ever been on. This gentleman to the right, when he finished speaking, he was mad at Newell for something, and that's a surprise. But when it all settled down, I walked away. You know, I met Don Tatson. I met people that I'd never met before that were extremely intelligent, knew what they were talking about, and you better know what's going on before you sit in this chair. And if you don't know, you keep your mouth shut for the whole entire meeting. I wanted to just say, Ross and Mr. Durant, you, Shelley, the most amazing people I've ever met have been on this board. And no matter, you can never be replaced. I respect you. Ross, your hair, you look like you're out of space. But help him out, Dave. He's out of loop, Dave. But the idea is you come in and you guys come in with results, and I'm going to miss you. Personally, Bob Taylor's going to miss you, only because of what you bring to the table, and you brought a lot to CCTA table. So. No more gloomy pictures. No more. I mean, we moved here, and I think and we hired a person named Randy Iwasaki, and it's just, I'm very proud to have been reelected, and I will continue to serve 4 more years on this board, and that is a great honor for me. But I couldn't do it without what all you guys do.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Bob. David, and then we're going to give Sherry the last word. No, he didn't say that the guy on his left was smart, so I love it. No, we don't want to hear about Bart bragging, or so David, please.
I got nothing else.
Okay, you got nothing? Sherry, final word of the night.
You know, I'll say a little bit more at the next meeting, but it has been a privilege to serve with all of you. I have learned so much, and you all have been so kind and patient and helpful and providing guidance and support, and I think that's really important. Obviously, you'll have some new members coming in, and I know you'll be just as gracious and helpful to them as well. The staff as well, the ones I've worked with, Isham and Ross, have all been just stellar. You guys could not ask for a better staff. And Measure X was a disappointment. I know we all worked hard for that. But transportation is very important to Contra Costa County. We see it all the time in our driving and talking to people and seeing how hard it is for people to get from point A to point B. So keep at it, and next time it will come around, and we'll be moving forward.
Okay, thank you. And with that, Sharon McCoy says we are adjourned to December 14th at 6 p.m. Thank you for coming.